Performing on 5 continents, he taught himself Spanish, German, Russian, and English, and used his wire to extend the boundaries of theater, music, writing, poetry, and drawing. On August the 7th, 1974, Philippe accomplished what may be the most astounding artistic crime of all time. He walked a high wire illegally stretched between the rooftops of the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center, making 8 crossings over the course of an hour, a quarter mile above the sidewalks of New York. Philippe's book, To Reach the Clouds, recounts the adventure and is the basis of the 2009 Academy Award-winning documentary film Man on Wire. In addition to walking the high wire, Philippe gives lectures and workshops on creativity and motivation, and has been the artist in residence at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine for more than 30 years. He also plays chess, studies French wine, and was recently cited bullfighting in Peru. He has been arrested over 500 times for street juggling. He's the recipient of many awards, and we're very pleased to have him with us here today in the Bryant Park Reading Room. Please join me in welcoming Philippe Petit. Does everybody have one of these? You all have one? Okay. Thank you.
Yes, it's important. Everybody has a little cord, little red rope. Great, you don't? There is a lady here who will be glad to. Okay, shall we start? Yeah. Good, good. You know, it's wonderful to be here. It's a garden party, right? Before we start, I want to ask: has any of you in a pocket? Do you have a bit of gold dust? Anybody has gold dust? Too bad. I just wanted to put back the gold dust on the E here of William Earl Dodge. You see, it fell off probably with the rain. So another time. I am very glad he came because actually I made a research and this old friend of mine is leaning on 2 books of nuts. And they're very old book and they're full of mistakes and the drawings are wrong, and that's why I quickly came up with this, you know. So anyway, people ask me all the time, how did you start with rope, cable, nuts? Well, it's very simple. First, I didn't plan my start, which is always the best start for me. I escaped authority from 5-6 years old by climbing. Climbing trees, climbing furniture, climbing rocks when I was a kid, a teenager. And very soon thereafter, I started using rope to rappel down. And as a kid, I put 2 ropes across 2 trees to do a monkey bridge. You know, 1 rope for the foot and 1 rope for the hand. It sounds, or it looks easy, but actually it's very treacherous. You turn around. And then as I was going pretty good at it, I let go of my hands and I tried. And of course, with a lot of work, I succeeded in learning by myself the art of tightrope walking and high wire, of course. So then to do that, I needed to learn about ropes and cables and rigging and nuts. So I became quite young, a passionate in knotting, and I collected books. I have those 2 in my collection, and I have like 200 books on my shelf from all over the world. I travel a lot. And I have been dissatisfied with them because it is true, sometimes there are too many knots. It's like an encyclopedia, you look, you don't want to enter there. And sometimes the drawings are not explaining well, or a little sentence under the drawing is not clear. Anyway, and also the knots are just thrown there, just like that, almost by chance. So I thought it would be nice to have a completely different book of knots. A opinionated book, my specialty of course, and a book with original and funny and magnificent notes, one that can save your life, some that are very fast to untie, some that are just beautiful to look at, things like that. So I started gathering those knots which were already in my head and in my fingertips. And then very easily I came up with an assortment of knots. And the book was born. But since I wanted this book to be so different, the first thing I asked the publisher, I think I demanded, was there must be a little red cord inside the cover. Why? Because I carry with me at all time a little red cord 1 meter long to do magic tricks, to teach knots, to learn knots. So I thought, like me, you should have my little cord. So here it is. And then what makes this book different also is that since I am a man of ropes, every chapter of the book starts with a double page picture of me on a high wire, and in the spread there is a little text, and that text is a true story about the knot that saved my life during that walk, or saved the day, or was very instrumental in making the walk happen. So you have all of those, and then I was afraid, no, I was not afraid, but I think sometimes authors must be afraid. If you look at a member of the reading party and you see your reader falling asleep. Now, this cannot happen with this book, but I thought, nonetheless, I'm going to punctuate the book. In every chapter, I'm going to include a surprise to, well, not to wake you up since you cannot fall asleep with this, but to, you know, to keep your energy up. So actually they are called surprise, which I had to put in the table of contents. That's a non-surprise announcement. And when you flip the book, you see the red margin. That means you are at a surprise. So some people might not first want to read the book. They say, I want to be surprised today. And then they'll stop at the red margin, and you'll have a quiz, a challenge, an amazing knot, a magic trick, whatever. So anyway, that's the book which, as you know, after this little encounter, which, by the way, will finish in a Q&A, question and answers. So if you have questions in your head, hold on to them. And then I will be here signing the book. So, well, going back to my little ropes that I have in my pocket, I think sometimes that nothing is very simple. And look at that, I'm going to go in slow motion. That's pretty simple. Actually, this is called an overhand knot. And also the AKA is simple, the simple knot. But if you go a little bit faster, sometimes this knot, like it's not so simple, you know, or you have to pay attention to create an... Hold on, sometimes body language helps. You see, I make a loop, I dive, I grab, I pull, and still, okay. Or I could not cheat. I could go like this, and I could make a knot which actually gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and so small that most people cannot see it, right? Okay, if I stop cheating, I'll do this. Except I'm not very happy with that. This is a knot that is not very nice, to the point I call it almost the potato knot, but it's a very strong knot, and it has an advantage. The advantage is that since I travel a lot, I can take the knot and put it in my pocket. You see, it's a traveling knot.